everybody. Is this working? Hi, everybody. If you are from the Youth Initiative High School, please scoot down to your reserved seats. You will see the label on the seats.
Everyone, welcome. Can you hear me in the back? Yes, awesome. Well, I want to welcome you to our third Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service, Learning, and Celebration. It is my pleasure to welcome you to Viterbo University as well. We have some distinguished guests with the Independent Youth High School. If you want to stand a second. I want to say that it is truly heartwarming to have all of you with us and share in our time of service and of learning. We're really grateful for your presence and for honoring this very special day with us. Viterbo really holds this service and this learning dear, and we're glad that you could be a part of our community today, so thank you. Let's see, on behalf of our diversity, equity, and inclusion, we are so excited to provide you with an afternoon of learning. And I would like to have our division staff stand, please. And a couple are back there, so. We are pleased to have with us two wonderful alumni who are community leaders, movers, and shakers who make La Crosse a more inclusive and welcoming community. Shai has been awarded the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Celebration Award and is the founder of Hope Restores. And Q has been featured in our alumni newsletter, Strides, and serves as a cultural liaison for the La Crosse City Schools. Additionally, we are lucky to have with us one of our amazing Viterbo professors, Dr. Keith Knutson, who is faithfully involved in the community celebration honoring Dr. King, as well as a key speaker for our smaller afternoon institute. Shai, Q, and Keith will be introduced in more detail immediately before their talks by Rahad, our wonderful DEI Multicultural Programming Coordinator, who has made all of this happen today in conjunction with campus and community partners who value diversity, honoring Dr. King, and celebrating this important holiday. Thus, it is with great pleasure that I present to you Rahad, who will introduce our speakers and tell you about our overflow space. Thank you.
Thank you, Marlene. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad you got to join us today. I'm really excited for the plan that we have ahead of us. These afternoon workshops are really, really important for us to be a part of, to listen and learn from. Marlene had mentioned our guest speakers today. I'm glad to start our afternoon workshops today with Don't Forget Your Gift by our guest speakers, Shai Jackson and Shamaya Curtins, both of them co-founders of Hope Restores, a local nonprofit organization that works to educate, empower, and bring advocacy to Black Americans in the community. So I'm really excited to have them with us today. Let's give them a round of applause. I would encourage you to stay seated, maybe take a bathroom break after this session. We have two amazing sessions after this. So please stay with us, and we're really looking forward to having you here with us today. Thank you so much.
All right. Can you guys hear me? Am I on? Yeah? I guess I just like more volume. All right. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. We are super, super excited to be here in honor of this great day. I got the opportunity to sit with my son a little bit and go through memory lane of some of the great things that Dr. King did today. And it made me kind of teary-eyed. So I'm super happy to be here and be bringing this energy to you guys. I am Shai Jackson, and this is Shamaya Curtis, just so that you guys know which one of us she's referring to. So we'll just go ahead and kick it off here. Where am I pointing? Look at me knowing how to do things. All right, so the presentation that we're giving you guys today is Don't Forget Your Gift, and we thought we'd include in there one of Dr. King's famous quotes, which was, "We may have all come here on different ships, but we're all in the same boat now." I love this one so much because it's so just on brand for exactly what we're talking about, right? We're all in this community. We only have one earth, and this is the only place that we're gonna learn how to unite with one another and just share together and love on each other. So let's go.
All right, I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit about Hope Restores. I am Shmaya Curtis, as Shai said. I'm one of the co-founders of Hope Restores. I'm the Executive Director of Development. Hope Restores is La Crosse's African American Resource Center. We have over 19 programs in our building. We're located at 231 Copeland Avenue. Hope Restores came into play is because we were listening to the need of the community. We had our youth and our high schoolers screaming that they were fighting for equality at high school, that they weren't fitting in, they were being mistreated, and point-blank racism. They were out protesting in the streets and yelling and crying for somebody to hear their voices. We had our allies saying, hey, like, I want to help, what can I do? You know, I want to make a change. And then we had our Black community that felt isolated and felt like they didn't belong and felt like the same issues that they were dealing with when they were youth in high school, their kids are dealing with, and they felt weak and helpless. And so we decided that we needed to do something about that, and we came up with Hope Restores. Hope Restores is a healing center. It's a place where community members can come, talk, conversate, connect, and build relationships. It's a place where we do things with youth activities, youth groups. It's a place where we eat together, we talk together. It's a place where community comes together and build relationships. And it has been an awesome, awesome gift to the La Crosse area. We have met so many different people. We have connected and we've built relationships. And we all are on this path to equality for everybody. You guys are more than welcome anytime to stop by. Some of the programs that we have at Hope Restores is that we have therapy, we have childcare. Childcare is a program that people can drop their kids off for about 3 hours a day while they go knock down some of their barriers, whether they need to go for a job interview or they need to go look for a job or go look for housing. They have a safe place to bring their kids. We have a transportation program. We take people on rides for job interviews, doctor's appointments, whatever they need. We also have a pantry there. We focus on toiletries. That's a high need in the community. It also has food as well. We have a diaper program. We give diapers out to parents that need diapers, and it's a huge need. We also have financial literacy. We have support groups. We have youth groups. We have support groups for families. We have support groups for men and women.
So all of the programs that Shemaya just listed, that doesn't even do it justice for what we have going on there. We have so many other programs, and you guys might see Hope Restores popping up everywhere because we're very intentional about making sure that we're inclusive. We're very intentional about making sure that we are reaching out and we're grabbing whoever hasn't had a chance to come and do community with us. One of the other programs that we have, and I'm not sure if you mentioned it or not, is Coffee with Hope Restores. This is an opportunity for you to come to Hope Restores. We sit down, we have coffee, there's pastries and fruit and stuff, and we just talk. Like, we keep it all the way real. It is a spirited conversation. It is not scripted. It's just people connecting with one another again, especially after COVID, right? Like, we all got a little bit weird. We all got a little bit weird. This was not a me thing. Right. So Coffee with Hope Restores has been a really great way to just kind of get used to doing community together again, get used to just being around one another again. And for those of us that haven't had the opportunity to really interact with very many other cultures, it was an opportunity to do that as well. We've done tons of events and fundraisers and things like that. I say all that to say that there is something for everybody to get involved with, to be a part of. And so I'm just kind of curious, by show of hands, who all in here has gotten involved with Hope Restores, come to one of the events, been a part of a fundraiser, partaken in any of the kids groups, field trips, any of it? Okay, we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do.
We got a lot of youth in the back. Have you guys heard about Hope Restores? Anybody's heard about Hope Restores?
No? Okay. You will.
Well, you have today.
You will.
Today.
All right. So, great. That's perfect. So what this is not going to be is us speaking at you guys and you just looking up here at us going, man, Shai's shirt looks really great on her. We really want you guys to get involved. And so what we'd like you to do is when we get to it, we're going to have you guys talk to each other. There's going to be some questions that we're going to put up, and we're going to have you guys talk to each other. That's where it all starts. We got to start that conversation. We got to be comfortable doing that, and we can't just sit and let it happen. So we're going to kick it off right away, letting you guys know that you will not be sitting there looking up here at the stage. So just a couple of things to clean house. In these conversations that you guys are having with each other, remember to listen for understanding. We are all coming from different walks of life. We all have different experiences. And that is the beauty of us being able to come together and sit in the same room, because that was not always an option. So embrace that and just really appreciate that. That is power.
Put a learner's mindset on. So just be open to learn. Every day you can learn something new, so just be open. Choose growth over comfort. A lot of times we want to stay with what makes us comfortable, but we're in this year, 2023, we are trying to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Commit to action. So after you sit in this theater with us and we talk about Hope Restores and talk about diversity and MLK Day, commit to some action. Just don't let this be an experience that you had. Put some action to it.
All right, so what we're gonna do is, for the most part, it looks like you guys are all kind of in like clusters or groups. If there's a back row, maybe face that back row, and just kind of, you're gonna have conversations with the people that are next to you. And I want you guys to talk about some of these questions here. So the first one, how can the gift of cultural, it should have said diversity, or cultural connection impact your day? And I want you guys to really take this in. What is it, how can your day be improved by knowing more about your neighbor? How can it be improved by knowing more about the history of somebody else? Talk about that stuff amongst yourselves. I want you guys to talk about how you can address cultural barriers in your community. Do you guys think we have cultural barriers in this community? I like you guys. And then the last one that I want you guys to talk about are, what are ways that you will embrace this gift of diversity, this gift of having the freedom to be able to sit in the same room with one another? How do you embrace that, and what will you do with it? And we're gonna give you guys probably about 10 minutes to go through these questions. Speak up, don't be quiet about it. I really want you guys to connect with one another.
I'd actually like our back two rows. Can you guys come join us up here? Are you guys comfortable with that? Just the last two rows.
Woo! Nice.
All right, fine. You guys can find a seat anywhere. We're gonna just mix it up a little bit. What high school are you guys from again? Awesome, awesome.
Baroque.
Thank you guys for being here with us today.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and have you guys start those conversations. We're gonna put 10 minutes on the clock, and whoever is wearing the color red will be the first person to start talking in your group. And then you'll popcorn it to the next
Red
person.
hair counts, red on your shirt, red on your shoes.
All right, guys, the timer's starting.
high school students, kind of.
You guys are doing great. You still have about 4 more minutes, so keep the conversations going. What do you guys talk about?
We talked about the first and the third, and then we kind of went off a little topic. But for the first, we were talking about like you can get to know people on deeper connections, and it's not like a structured meeting. And on the third one, like you can really like embrace the experiences you have and like share them.
Are you guys involved in any community stuff? Yeah. Our school is like youth led. Right. So
All right, I'm going to bring you guys all back to center. How painful was that on a scale of 1 to 10? All right, so what I want you guys to do, I want you to turn to the person to your right, and I want you to do 1 round of paper, rock, scissors. Is there a victor yet? Does everybody have a victor out of your pair? Oh, I'm sorry. You guys know what I meant. You guys know what I meant. All right. Out of the person you paper, rock, scissors, do we have the victor? Do we have a winner out of that person? Awesome. Yes. Proudly. All right. So The reason that I had you guys do that is I am going to ask about what you guys talked about. And typically, when I do this, people are not lined up to share with me. And so, because I am a very creative person, I decided not to voluntold anyone. But know that if you won at your game of paper, rock, scissors, you will be the speaker for what you guys talked about in your group. All right, so let's see. Do you guys want, yeah. Oh, what, sorry, just kidding. We just have people online that we want to make sure they hear it.
Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Our group struggled a little bit, but we had some good conversation. We talked a little bit about how the area we live in does not have a lot of diversity, but that is incorrect in that there's a lot of diversity in terms of like family culture we talked about and the differences between sort of personal culture and family. We talked about, someone mentioned the ways that we can embrace our gift. We talked about sort of understanding the roots of things instead of just blatantly maybe embracing something or following something or disliking something, sort of understanding where things come from in a different way. One person mentioned right at the end that in some of the classes, specifically a class they're taking right now, they're reading a book that's talking about a different culture but written by someone of a different race, and how there's sort of this bias in some of the reading that we have. What else did we talk about? Some of these just seem very like different ideas, but we talked about how we're impacted through culture, through language and food. There was a couple other ones mentioned. But I guess the biggest idea was just sort of looking at cultural differences between individuals and family within our school, and sort of trying to break barriers through education and conversation.
I love that. Thank you. And thank you for being the first one.
Yeah,
That's
just-
awesome.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Keep the mic. I have one question. So personally, what are you gonna take? What are you gonna embrace from diversity personally for yourself?
Oh, for myself,
Is it cheating if they're whispering her the answer?
no, they're reminding me of something I said. Oh, okay. I guess I don't know if this is an embracing thing. I guess I talked about as an educator how I made a decision a long time ago to, I sort of had a qualm of, do I want to educate in a diverse school, or do I want to educate my own race? And that was sort of a difficult conversation I had with myself, and sort of realized that both are equally important, and maybe more important for me to educate my own race on breaking down racism. And I guess in the classroom too, sort of I've struggled to sort of bring different people from different cultures into my classroom, and I'd like to do that more and embrace people in the community more who could share from a different perspective, and probably a more personal perspective than I can. I teach anthropology at the school, and I think that that's a perfect class to have more people from different cultures come in and talk, even if they're not in the community. Actually, I think that's something I should embrace more.
I love that you asked
Thank
yourself
you.
that question, the difference between the two. I really like that. And you're right, both are definitely necessary.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, who's the lucky person?
Up front.
You have one back here too. I don't know.
Hello.
You want to get them? Okay. We'll let the one go back there first.
Is it on? I can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm not gonna stand up, but I'm gonna speak. Okay, so my group talked a lot about how I'm trying to think of one question that maybe we talked about more of, but not really. We talked a lot about the police force and how they treat different races, because that was a huge topic, definitely in, I think it was 2020, 2021. Let me see. We talked about how a cultural barrier might be one not giving the time or thinking that they know everything about said culture, whatnot, because of stereotypes, and how that can be a huge barrier. And a gift that I personally would like to embrace is not only learning about a culture as a whole, but learning about some important individuals that are really significant in different cultures.
I love it. Awesome. Thank you.
So, my name is Danessa, and when we had at first looking at these questions immediately, we were kind of shy because these aren't typical questions that we usually have outside. And I feel like these questions are very important to continue to talk about and to continue to break the barrier it has alone to be more comfortable outside in society to talk about it. And when we first started, the first one, we really talked about the first question and how the gift of cultural connection, and mainly what I said and what I heard a lot of in my group was that just because naturally as human beings, we tend to go to like hang out with people or see people that we find most common interest in, and that's just natural as human beings. So learning that and then taking action to stepping outside of yourself and seeing other perspectives and views, we all said together that it would impact a lot of people if we allowed other people in. And I feel like that's a very important thing because we tend to live in boxes sometimes of our own friends, our own hobbies, our own race specifically, especially that. And just stepping outside and asking questions, and these questions would make such a big impact in the community because it wouldn't be something we'd shy away from. And that way we can go to the root of the issues of the lack of diversity and those barriers and come together as one. So my group did a really good job at explaining, and once we all got comfortable, of course, we started talking a little bit more and we got a little bit deeper. So I feel like this is small, but if we go outside and embrace these questions and talk more about these things, a lot of these things can be talked about and a lot of progress could happen. So that's all I have to say.
Awesome. So, just to put you on the spot one more time, what was the gift that you're going to embrace from diversity personally?
Well, personally, this one was a little bit hard because there's so many gifts that we all have. So what I said to kind of kick off the conversation is I like poetry,
Yes.
and I love social justice, so maybe I could use my poetry to spark and bring up change. But everyone has a gift, whether you know it or not, and you can always use it to your benefit and to help others. So personally, mine is poetry. Clearly it's speaking. I didn't even know that till today. I'm literally shaking right now. I haven't really spoken in front of a lot of people before, so there's a lot of gifts I don't know about myself, and there's a lot of gifts that you guys know about yourselves as well. So
Thank you.
that
That's
would be
beautiful.
mine, so.
You're beautiful. Love it. I love you.
Hello, my name is Molly Vaughn. I'm a student here at Viterbo, and our group was talking that we just met these two lovely people, Aiden and Jihu, and we were talking a little bit about your guys' wonderful exchange program. That's awesome. I found that wonderful because I went to a school in a very small town, and we didn't have a lot of exchange students, maybe one or two a year, and I just found it really great that you guys have such a big exchange program. That's really something special.
Nice, thank you.
Absolutely. And I love that you bring that up because that's definitely another way to learn about more cultures. I mean, we can't all go across the seas. So to be able to embrace exchange programs and I don't want to age myself, but we used to have pen pals. Do you guys still do pen pals?
That's
So that
like
was,
the 70s.
don't tell my business. So that was one way for us to learn about, you know, kids and people and other areas and places across the world. So that was a really cool one for me. Who's next? Who's next? I want to get maybe 3 more.
Can you hear me?
Oh, you got one.
Okay.
All right.
We have a super strong exchange program, and that's a great step. But I wish that even with a strong exchange program, people would include exchange students and talk to exchange students in a way that's like kind of asking questions about them and their experience and sort of their background and their culture. It's super important to just pull people in and like, we're all in America, let's do America things, but like, how are you doing and like, what's something you miss? I don't know. I wish that we did a better job of like asking them questions, I guess.
I love that.
love
Yeah.
it.
Absolutely love that. Inclusivity, right? It's one thing for someone to be there. It's something completely different to be included and feel like you're a part of that whole. So I love that you pulled that out of there. Who are my other 2? All right. Don't forget, you guys, I'm working on my people skills and I'm not voluntolding anybody.
Hello. Okay. So we talked about, so the first question, how can the gift of culture culture connection impact your day? We kind of said awareness, just so everyone comes from like a different background, not just culturally, but experientially too. We all experience different things in different cultures, and kind of ties in with the last. Like for me, what are ways you will embrace your gift? I think just being yourself. Being yourself, I think that's the most important thing, but also for me, I'm like really unfiltered and I speak my mind a lot. So also it ties back to the second question where how can you dress? It's kind of speaking, like if I say something wrong that's not culturally right in your culture, then I would like for you to speak up to me, because if I don't understand where you're coming from, then you won't understand where I'm coming from. So that's kind of how everything ties. So
Yeah, that is a good one. Very good.
That is so, so huge. I'm going to do just a short little segue. I love what you said. It's so difficult when you're one of very few inside of a school, inside of a community, and it's hard for you to speak up, you know, because you don't want anyone to think that you're making a fuss or you're being a disruptor or whatever else. And so whenever you have the opportunity to correct someone, just remember that that is a gift, and the ones that you don't correct, you will think about it quite often. There's been plenty of times that I think back to things that were said about me while I was there, conversations that were had, people that I didn't correct, and it was really hard for me to let that go. But now, you know, now that I have found the power in my voice, I try to make sure that I do that. But some of the hardest things to let go are the things that you let people get away with saying or, you know, assuming. Token black blank was a really big one. That was one that no one thought that there was any harm in it, you know? And so whenever that would be said, even though it was frustrating and whatever else, you just kind of shrugged it off. But being aware and speaking up when those things are said is really huge, and it'll do a lot for you as well as that person that you are educating on it.
have a quick question for you. How did you how did you find the confidence to be able to speak up about those things, about all the little things that happen in daily life?
I don't know. I think I just slowly started to decide that I shine bright with or without anyone. And so it was kind of like, I don't need your permission to be authentically myself. And so I started just, correcting everybody. Thank you. Correcting everybody and just speaking my own truth. And it turns out people received it pretty well. And for the ones that didn't receive it well, then that was a different conversation that we need to have, because it wasn't me being ultra sensitive, right? And it's not something that we need to argue about. I don't need to have a debate with you about why what you said hurt me. And so being able to powerfully walk away from those people, those relationships, they just may not be the season that I'm in right now until they're able to do some growth on their own part. So yeah. Thank you.
I'll answer that question as well. So for me, I like to stick up for the underdog. And I realized that if I didn't say anything, nobody else was going to say anything. And so I decided that I was going to put myself in the line and start speaking up. And then I realized that the people that were saying those things were victims themselves, because nobody ever took the time to correct them. And so then I made it my duty to not only just speak up, to make myself and others feel well, but also to help the people that were just plainly ignorant or just now no knowledge to how their words were hurting others. So.
Can I get one more on the second question? Awesome.
So for the second question, I thought of something that happens at our school right now, in which one of the students for her senior project is doing something in which she's creating a youth club in which people of different backgrounds are supposed to gather so we can talk about our differences and in a safe space where there's no judgment. So if you have something of a controversial opinion, it doesn't matter, because we're just here to learn how other people think and also expand upon our own understandings of that, which I think really draws into the first question as well, on how cultural connection really allows us to learn new things and also come to realizations about ourselves that we wouldn't have had. And I think that projects like these are super important, especially at our school, that emphasizes initiative. It's in our name. And students actually being able to speak up and get things and programs and classes that they want, because I think all of us here today could do more about being like, hey, this is something lackluster at our school. We've probably all contributed to microaggressions before, and I think if there was more education about it or understanding, that probably would, I wouldn't say completely erase, because that's very hard to do, but would definitely minimize and make us more aware of ourselves. And so I definitely think that programs such as that are not only started by students, but also have teacher support and can be taken into schools where even people who might be shy about speaking up and participating can at least learn. And so I think that's something that all of us, at least at our school, can contribute to very easily and have the chance to do so.
Awesome. Yeah. I love that. That was awesome, you guys. I really appreciate how everybody contributed some of the stuff that they learned and that you guys talked about. And remember, that's going to always be the key, communicating and talking about that stuff. All right, so one of the things that I want you guys to leave here with is that we're all different, but we're also all the same, created uniquely and without flaw, so much so that that's going to be your greatest contribution to this life, you guys. It really is, learning about yourself, learning about other people, that is a gift, and it's only going to make you so much better as you move through this life and you get to know more people. Because we're all just having a very human experience, right? We're just people having a human experience. That's it. So remember that diversity is a gift. And don't forget that gift, because we all need it. And it's the gift that keeps on giving. So we did another quote from Dr. King. And it has a lot to do with exactly what we're doing. We're communicating. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter. Do not let anybody stop your speech, stop your light, keep talking about things, keep talking to each other, find out ways to get out there, keep speaking up. I know there's a lot of family dinners that take place where, Uncle Bob or Grandma, whoever, is kind of used to saying some of those things that could be microaggressions, things that you weren't even aware were not okay until you grew up and got around some different people. And then you realize, you know what, that's not okay to say. And it kind of makes you start to feel a certain type of way. That starts in the home. We can teach our family, our siblings, we can teach the people right under our roof how to be better at loving us and loving the community, how to love each other. So starting at home and then just blossoming out from there. Take that conversation into your friendship groups.
Okay, so call of action. What will you embrace today about the beauty of diversity? I went around and I talked to some people in the audience, and we kind of talked about social media, right? For an example of imagine social media without diversity. That would be kind of plain and boring, right?
There'd be a lot less people in Facebook jail.
Right. I mean, would you guys enjoy a social media without diversity? Most of us get to learn so much from social media, and especially from diversity. Like, we get to learn about other cultures, other foods, other swag, famous people. We get to learn about nice places to go. We get to learn about dance. We get to learn about holidays. We get to learn about celebrations. We get to learn what other people are doing in their house, how they're eating, how they're living. And most of us love it, right? We love seeing other people live. And so if you think of a world without diversity, it's pretty boring. And so when you leave here today, I want you guys to think about that on a daily basis. It's like, we have been fighting against racism for so long, right? But we don't take the time to think about how important it is to be around people of different cultures, different lifestyles, and different walks, and how beautiful it is, and how we have got gifts from that, and how we are to living our lives in a different way just because we've learned something new from somebody else. So when you think about your gifts from diversity, just think about how they're putting a change to your life, and how you will be able to change somebody else's life by sharing your gifts as well. So are we doing this last part?
Yeah.
Okay.
I absolutely could not agree more. And just make sure you guys aren't being bystanders. Make sure that you're being a part of it. There's so much happening outside of your communities in bigger spaces. Find out ways to connect you guys. And I always do the what if. What if it were you that was on the other side of that, conversation or that comment? What if it was you that couldn't change the color of your skin, your appearance, your heritage, your whatever? What if that was you? What would it take for you to feel comfortable? What would you like to receive as someone in that circle to be included? What if it was you? And that's the best way to change and get involved with things. Don't sit around and just be a bystander. It's not worth it, and life gets so good when you become a part of the conversation and a part of the change. And I know that you guys are all change makers. You absolutely are. So hone that power. And then just lastly is where we're at. So we're on Copeland Avenue. Feel free to stop in, shoot us an email. If you're looking for ways to get involved, find out what's going on, reach out to us, you guys. And other than that, we're gonna leave this last 5 minutes if anyone has any questions at all.
Follow us on social media. Just check us out, see what we have going on. We always have awesome things going on. And our door is always open. If you guys want to come stop by, you want to volunteer, you just want to see what we have going on.
Awesome.
Yes. So you were the black student leaders and the girls group were at lacrosse soup, and they won, and then they came back and made soup for the next winners.
Does anybody have any questions? We have time for questions. If any specific questions, you can ask them whatever you want. You can even ask them what their favorite food is.
Hi, I have a question. So in the work that you're doing in the Black community in La Crosse, what would you say are some of the biggest struggles that the Black community is facing in this community right now? Like what are some of the biggest barriers that they're facing?
That's a whole book.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But I guess if I was to touch on a couple things, I think that equality is a huge one. There's lack of consistency, within schools. There are a lot of broken systems here. It's very difficult for me to have gone into my son's school and be passionate and frustrated about something versus my counterpart going in there and having the same concerns and those being answered. There is,
I'd have to say the slow pace, right? When COVID hit, we moved really quick in this world. We got our masks, our hand sanitizer, we had to stay in the house, and we're like, we gotta do something now, right? Well, racism is hurting, it's killing us. And the slow pace is hurting us, because every day I've got to explain to somebody that we're on the process, we're working on it. We see a tiny change, So the slow pace is really, it hurts. When you're hurting, you want immediate help. And so we want immediate change.
Maybe room for one more question.
so the question was, what's one thing that each of you can do to help us? Action. Find out how you can get involved and get tapped in, and then just simply take action. One of the reasons that we did this presentation the way we did, which was really all hands-on and you guys interacting and talking, is because a lot of times you sit through a presentation and you hear all the things and you see all the slides, and then you leave and you do nothing at all. So action, knowing that you are powerful beings and you are totally capable of participating in making change and being a part of it. You don't need to be validated to make the right decision. You don't need to be given permission to speak up. Just do it. Just take action. So that would be the biggest thing, is for everyone to leave and just start taking just massive action.
One last one.
Not just for individuals to take action within their community or their school, but how organizations like ours need to be connected, so we link our allyship together, because we have this whole army of students who are ready to be really strong allies and learn, and they're open-minded and open-hearted, and they're just ready to go. But the opportunities don't always show up for us in certain ways. Like every now and then they'll show up and the kids organize a protest in Madison or La Crosse or something like that. But to have these organizations know that we're allies for each other, so that we're connected, so that when those opportunities do come up, people can take the action that they want to take.
Yes, that's so true. We would hope when you guys leave here today that you guys will connect with us at Hope Restores. It's because we have tons of tasks. Simple as we have elementary school kids that could use somebody to come in there and have a lunch with them or read a book with them. Or you guys come out to Hope Restores and volunteer with one of our support groups. Or you guys just have that conversation at home with your friends and family and just say, I see a problem here and I want to do something about it. Please call us and join us at Hope Restores for our coffees. Just call us if you have questions, and we will give you some tasks to take action for sure. And we'd love to partner with you guys. So if you ever want us to come out and talk. We can bring the Black student leaders. That building a relationship is so important. Like Shai said, we are all human beings and we are all the same, and we all have our personal struggles, right? And so when you connect with other human beings, they allow you to have somebody to lean on or to have somebody to support you during your own struggles. And sometimes we just need some support too.
Absolutely. And then I just want to add real quick, we are all about the partnership, and I can't wait for us to partner with you guys, but also you don't have to be a part, do it with your school or do it with a class. We've had plenty of young people reach out to us and get connected, and just doing fun stuff and being a part of it. So if that's something that's on your heart and you think that, you might want to connect with Hope Restores and be a part of everything that we have going on, you are absolutely welcome. And we're even waiting for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's give them another round of applause.
Thank you guys so much. I hope to see everybody at Juneteenth this year. It's a nice celebration, Juneteenth. I hope to see everybody there. If you're looking for information on that, check us out on Facebook.
Thank you. Thank you, Shai and Shamaya. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody who attended. And if you are planning to stay for the next session, please take a minute or two for a bathroom break and come on back.